Hello everybody, this is Mississippi Gun Channel, and I'm going to do a little polishing on this 1911 I got, and I was going to basically show y'all how I go about polishing. I get a little bit of rust on the STI magwell that I got because it was originally painted black, and I chromed it out. I actually chromed the bottom of it also. Well, I say chromed it out. I polished it. I apologize. I shouldn't even bring that up. I basically took a little small, really fine grinding or sanding disc and just barely touched it up, smoothed it out, got all the imperfections out of it, and sanded it down nice and smooth. And then I took a polishing wheel on my same Dremel tool and polished it up. And got it nice and shiny where it's a nice polished type finish. Don't get me wrong, it's not a mirror finish, especially now. You can see all the little dings and nicks and stuff like that in it, and it's been used and abused. So and you can tell the back strap here is black and it's checkered, and what I did was polish the sides, this piece here. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take my little Dremel tool. I got this little attachment for your Dremel, and it's not even a Dremel brand. It's a cheap dollar store. You know, I heard a saying a long time ago when I was a young man that a poor man has poor ways. And I tell you what, in this day and age, you just got to do what you got to do, especially when it's hobbies and stuff like that. It's not really affecting your lifestyle. So I try to get by as cheap as possible on some of this stuff like this. I can go down and buy this for 15-20 bucks. I buy 3 of them for what I can buy a real Dremel. So anyway, this is what I got. It's a little cheap, like a dollar store setup with this attachment on it. And I went and bought this Dremel tool kit. It came with the polishing wheels right here. Sanding disc. Sanding discs are actually, let me open it up for y'all. Sanding discs are actually right down here. If you see them in that little slot right there, there's different grains of sanding disc. There's also the round sanding wheels, real coarse ones. Came with a little bit of polishing compound right here. Buffing wheel. That's really not a buffing wheel, but you can use it. That also, all the little attachments, little wire brush, cutting disc, came with everything. It was actually a better deal than just buying the buffing wheel. So this is the little buffing wheel. It's white when you get it, and the little polishing compound on it kind of boogers it up, turns it all brown, but you got to use that polishing compound to really smooth that thing out. And so what I do, I just go over the gun with this and a little bit of compound, and it shines it right back up, knocks that rust right off. And I haven't really found a way to keep it from rusting. I oil it about every time I clean it. I oil the whole gun down, but you'll still get a little bit of surface rust. But for me, it's not a big deal. Maybe when I finish the gun, refinish it, I'll maybe go back and do something different on that magwell, since I'm having a problem with it. Everything else I don't have any problems with. If you look at that safety, no problems whatsoever. There's no rust, not a speck of rust on it anywhere. Same thing with the slide release. That was a factory slide release, and I don't have any problems out of it. It doesn't rust anywhere on it, so I don't know what's going on with that. And all I did was basically polish this one up. This one is a Wilson Combat extended safety, but it was also stainless painted. It was not this polished. I actually polished it myself, but I'm not going to worry about those because they look good. I'm just going to do this piece here and let y'all check it out. Alright, what I'm going to do now is probably going to be loud. Y'all probably ain't going to be able to hear much. It's just get this Dremel tool here. And basically, just get a little bit of a polishing compound on it. And just start polishing that dude. You can do it while it's running, but man, it slings it everywhere. And it's going to do it anyway. But here we go. Show y'all about all you got to do, and this will work. I mean, if you got a gun that you want to trick out like a 1911 or something, and it's not your gun that you're going to carry, anybody with any kind of mechanical ability can do stuff like this. I wouldn't recommend anybody messing with the internal mechanisms of the gun, because it is still a gun. And it could potentially have disastrous effects. But I just take this little polishing wheel, just go over this dude, and I got it set real slow. These Dremels ain't got a lot of power. They just mainly got speed. So just polish it up. Just go over 4 or 5 times, back and forth. Get you a little dip of polishing compound like that, and you can see it. It'll get that polishing compound on the mag well, and you can turn your speed up if you want, but it helps. I'm trying to keep it down so y'all can still hear me, and that'll really shine that dude up and make it look nice. It'll be dull until you clean it off. When you clean it off, it'll really shine up nice and pretty. And like I say, that's just enough, taking just enough material off to get that surface rust off, and polish it back up the way I want it. I try to keep it looking halfway decent. That's about all you got to do. I mean, if you're going to do that, like what I started out doing was, I took the first thing I did was take my slide release off before I tried anything. The slide releases are 15-20 bucks for a 1911. Took it off. Said, well, you know what, I can't really hurt anything. If I mess it up, I'm not going shooting until this weekend, so it don't matter. I can order another one and have it here. I'll go down to a local gun shop and get one. So I tried it. I just took a fine sanding wheel on this Dremel tool and went to cleaning it up. We knocked all the paint off of it basically, smoothed it down. Of course, there was some cast. This particular slide stop in this gun is cast. It's not a milled slide stop or anything. So it had some little cast marks on it after you got the paint off, but you could see it. So I just smoothed them out and real nice, softly with that sanding disc, and called it good, man. Once I got it to where it was good enough, I thought it looked good. I was happy with it. I switched over to the polishing wheel. This polishing wheel here, just with the polishing compound, and then they turned out nice. I'm sure you can keep going further and further and get a mirror type finish on it, but this isn't a gun I'd put a mirror finish on. I use it way too much to worry about getting it that nice. But for what it's worth, this is how you do it. That's just a quick little rundown for you guys. I'll go back and put a little more into it, but we'll call that good. Turn this thing off and just take a rag. Just take a rag and just wipe it down real good to get all that compound off of it. Because it's kind of a brownish color and it stays right on the surface a lot of the times, and you just got to wipe the residue off. And it will give you a nice, pretty finish without a lot of BS to it. And like I say, taking after I do something like this, I'll take and oil it down real good, and it'll last that way for a long time. I mean, you can see the finish on that dude. It is pretty nice. But you can see what it does. Get junk all over the gun, but it's not a big deal. You're going to clean it up anyway. Alright. Get y'all a better look here at this gun. Of that polishing. You can see how much shinier it is now than what it was before. Sure, you could tell. Like I say, it's not perfect by any means. It's got little dings and nicks all in it, but it makes a huge difference. It'll shine it up, make it look pretty dang sharp. So people wanting to try stuff, I'd say try small, like that slide stop. It's easy. You're not going to file on it. You're not going to take a file to it or anything. You're basically just knocking the paint off and knocking the little imperfections out with a really fine disc, and then just take a buffing wheel. Once you get it the way you want it, polished up or sanded down, then you go to polishing it. And the more time you spend polishing, the prettier it looks. So it's all on how good you want it. Like I say, I don't have any problems with either of these rusting, any kind of surface rust whatsoever. Just this, I don't know what type of steel it is. It's probably because these are cast. But this, I'm not sure if this is milled. Being a STI, I'm sure it probably is, because this thing was like 80 or 90 bucks just for this mag well. So anyway, there you fellas go. Maybe it'll help somebody out. Like I say, I don't recommend this doing on any kind of a gun that you're going to carry. It's not affecting any of the mechanical aspect of the gun, but if you're going to start tinkering around with a gun, you want to make sure it's one that you're not putting your life on the line for, basically. And then this is just a plinking gun. It's not a self-defense gun. So that's why this gun's basically my guinea pig on tinkering and playing and building the gun I want the way I want, and getting me out in the shed just fiddling with them. Alright fellas, thank you for viewing my channel, and have a great day.